Give it to me just 1 minute. Okay, the topic for today is emotional classes for outstanding outcomes. Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, people from Peru, from Ecuador, okay, from different regions of our country. Thank you so much for being part of this event. Today, a special guest, as I said, is Ruben Garcia. Ruben Garcia is ICLT Peru president, okay, Speak Up Assertive Leadership CEO, IDYM Foundation Peru director, master coach, ADI Africa Peru director. So let's see what he say about this topic. In this plenary, we will know how to create learning environments where students feel emotionally safe and secure, able to experiment and learn, and able to manage their feelings so they gain confidence and self-worth and become become independent, emotionally secure, mature individuals. We need to understand how people learn best and how to work with every individual to remove traditional barriers to learning. That's something that our guest, in this case, our speaker, mentioned, Ruben Garcia. So I think that more to say more about him, it is absolutely, well, I think that in this case, to say more than what I mentioned is definitely because he has a very big background in this case, okay? He's a wonderful, and the most important of this is that he's not just a teacher, he's more than that, okay? He's a very nice person, he's always a smile, he was a very good attitude, he always tried to participate, okay, in different things. So I'm really glad to be to have him as a friend. So thank you so much, Ruben. Give it to him a big applause. Thank you, Ruben Garcia, for this opportunity, okay, to have you here in this space, okay. So here we're going to have, in this case, well, I think that that was all. Thank you so much, Ruben. Ruben, can you hear me, my dear friend?
Ladies and gentlemen, please get ready because you are about to experience a great night. So I invite you all to turn on your cameras and join me with now move. Woo! Excellent. We are here to celebrate. We are together. Woo! So stretch your arms. Energy. Ooh, emotion is energy in motion. We need to move. Since we are human beings, we need good vibes. And we start our classes with this good mood, with this great energy. You contagiate your students to do the same. So let me share now my screen and let's share more of the things. Okay, so this is what Claudia has already read here. We expect to get this and more. Now, look at those squares. Those squares have different emotions that probably you find your students, or sometimes you can show those emotions before your classes and you have to act, not to feel some of these faces that I'm going to show you. You see, you can find students that have that face at the beginning of your class. Or probably you too, because we know in this lockdown, we can have different terrible times. And we are like this. Oh, this is a good one, right? This is going to be positive to find students, to find yourself like this. Or that one. Oh, that one can be not good. It's not negative because no emotions are negative. Emotions are always good, but the point is that our emotions great emotions that give you energy, and there are emotions that turn off your energy. What about this? How often do you feel like this? Do we have the right to feel this way? Of course, we do. But it's better to be like this. No, this is sad. Or what about that? So what we are trying to say is that emotions are not bad. But the thing is that when you are sad, you cannot give a class in a sad way. So it means that you have to struggle to change your mind, to change your mood in order to be active, energetically speaking. So emotions. At the end, we are talking about emotions. And the question is, what are emotions? What are emotions? And we can have, and you can have ideas, of course, we all know about emotions. But let me share with you what I have found, that emotions are psychological states comprised of thoughts, feelings, psychological changes, expressive behaviors, and inclinations to act. All right? Do you agree with this? So how many of you agree with this meaning of emotions? Okay, I'm going to interact with you because I can see you. No matter I am sharing my screen, I found a way to see you all. But no problem. If you don't turn on your camera, it's okay. Not a problem today. But just you can show reactions like this. You can have a reactions a panel there, right? And you can show reactions like this if you agree with this. Okay, very good, excellent. Participation is active. We need to participate because if I talk, I feel that I am alone. And we are a group of people, I consider myself a lifelong learner. I consider myself a student as well. So, excellent for your participation. Yes, Richard, very good. You changed your voice for a while. Okay, no problem. Good. Then, you know who he is. Everybody knows. All teachers, all educators know who he is. But what he said, if you don't control your emotional skills, if you're not able to control your stressful emotions, if you can't have empathy and effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are, you're not going to be successful. Daniel Coleman. How many of you agree with this? Please, your likes if you agree with this. Excellent. Yes, so you all agree with Mr. Coleman. Great. Then, look at that. So that is what we have to see. We have to get to our students' brains because we have to teach their brains. How do we do this? We have to work on emotions. We have to create emotional classes to ensure good results, good outcomes. And let's take a look to the emotions that I want to share with you. And we have pride. There is a saying, no? There is a saying that says, as pride as a turkey. Have you heard that saying? As pride as a turkey. Okay. Then, happiness. Interesting emotions. Happiness. Hate also. Regret. I think we all have this emotion in a time in our life. Regret. For example, I sometimes regret of the things I buy. Oh, but I didn't need this, but I found a very good bargain and I bought something. And I spent some money that I had. And the next day I needed that money. So I regret to buy that. Then empathy, interesting. Fear. emotions, negative, right? So what are the negative ones? Fear, hate. Well, actually, yes, because they are not good for your classes in this case. In that way, they are negative. They are negative in your classes. Only the positive ones, we have the hope, the empathy, and the happiness. That's right. Positive and negative for your classes. Then shame, or we continue with the negative, guilt, faith, uh, joy, sorry, love, anger, and sadness. So we have the emotions, positive and negative. We are talking about not positive or negative human beings, but positive or negative for the impact of your classes. You as an instructor, you as a professor, you as an educator, as a teacher. Great. Then, if we have this fan of emotions, look at what we have. If we have fearful, what does we mean by fearful? When you have this emotion, you are also scared. Scared. You are scared and you are helpless. You feel frightened. If you're anxious, you feel overwhelmed, worried, insecure, inadequate, inferior, weak, worthless, insignificant, rejected. You feel rejected, but this is this fearful emotion. And then you have excluded. Rejected means you feel excluded, persecuted, threatened, nervous, and exposed. Do you know how many of your students have this emotion when they are in your class? It's hard to see this, especially in these remote classes, because not all of the students like to turn on the cameras, which is very important to do this in a class, because we want to make feel that we are with them. We are side by side, like in a face-to-face class. So how can we invite them to turn on the cameras? By making them feel that they are active participant of this. And you can struggle to change that feeling that they might have. And we have another fan of feelings here. What does angry? It means if you feel angry, you let down. And if you let down, you're betrayed, you are resentful, humiliated, disrespected, ridiculed, bitter, violated, indignant, mad, furious, jealous, aggressive, provoked, hostile, frustrated, infuriated, annoyed, distant, withdrawn, numb, critical, skeptical, dismissive. Oh, great. We are now refreshing our vocabulary knowledge. Yes, some words might be new for you, for some of you. Probably you know all of them. You have seen all of them, and you are just refreshing your vocabulary knowledge here. Then let's continue refreshing them. It's interesting to talk about emotions and how we might feel. All right, so we talked about angry. Let's go about disgusted. Disapproving. When you feel disapproving, it's judgmental, embarrassed. Then you go on with disappointed, appalled, revolted, awful, nauseated, detestable, repelled, horrified, hesitant. And that we continue with this, we have to change. Okay, sad. All right. Sad is the word there. So when you have sad, you feel hurt, probably you were hurt as well. Feel embarrassed, you feel disappointed. You might find your students that way, depressed, of course. We are in this lockdown, in this pandemic time. You can have many people depressed because they feel inferior or empty. Guilty, why not? Remorseful. And then you have here, well, this is hard to, to read. Despair. You have powerless. Okay. And the other was guilty, ashamed. I forgot to read this. Despair, and you are grief. Vulnerable, you feel victimized, fragile. Lonely, how about loneliness? You say lost-lated and abandoned. Interesting, huh? So now I am giving you a challenge to read in that way also with me, but no problem, I can read it for you. All right. Let's continue. And this is better. Happy, it's nice, you know. This is something that I always recommend to be your class and to get your students this way. Because if you're happy, you are playful. And if you are playful, you feel aroused, you feel cheeky. Then you feel content, you feel free, joyful, interested, curious, inquisitive, proud, successful, confident, accepted. You feel accepted, okay, respected. Your students feel respected, valued, powerful. Your students feel this way: powerful, courageous, creative, peaceful, loving, thankful, trusting, trusting, yes, sensitive, intimate, and optimistic, which is thoughtful, inspired. Interesting. About surprise. Well, surprise is also good because you have startled, confused, amazed, excited, and then you have those shocked, dismayed, disillusioned, perplexed, astonished, eager, energetic. Okay, we are finishing with these feelings, and this is the one that we have. Bad, bored. You get bored easily? You get bored easily? That is my question. Do you know if your students get bored easily? If they feel indifferent, they feel apathetic, if they are busy, get pressured or rushed, stressed, overwhelmed, out of control, tired, sleepy, unfocused. Yes, tired. This is a feeling that sometimes we cannot get rid of. Yes, you all day class and at night you have a class and you're tired because you're a human being. But how can you counteract this feeling into a positive one? So, our emotions are a central part of our humanity. To deny them is to deny the essence of who we are. In fact, not only should we not try to separate emotional responses from learning, but we can't, according to the recent neuroscience research. That is part of neuroscience because we are teaching the brain. We are talking to the brains. We are bringing emotions into the class. That is important for all. Then let me share with you this information that I found that it was previously thought that emotion and cognition activated separate areas of the brain, as you might know. But recent findings show that multiple areas involved in emotional responses and cognitive processing are all active at once. Since it's impossible to exclude emotion from cognition, why not take advantage of the power of emotions instead? Why not take advantage of this? We have to take advantage of the emotions in order to work in an accurate way. At the end, we can say that emotions are powerful because emotions grab our attention and keep our interest. Emotions always grab our attention and keep our interest, as it says here. Emotions motivate us, inspire us, and move us to action. How many of you agree with these concepts? How many of you agree with this? Yes, what we have just shared about emotions. Very good, very good. You are very participative, and that is how our students need to be participative all the time. They are with you. They are part of the class. They are connected to you. That is to enhance a rapport. Rapport important. Then we connect, understand, and remember things much more deeply when our emotions are involved. This is very, very important. You have to write this down because I consider this gold. This information is gold. We connect, understand, and remember things much more deeply when our emotions are involved. So let's consider intentional ways of bringing emotions into our teaching and learning experience. This is important to be considered. Intentional ways of bringing emotions into our teaching and learning experiences. How can we harness the power of emotions to help our students connect with learn, and retain our material more deeply? How? How do you think? Can we harness that power? And for this, I'm going to show you this model of teacher social and emotional competence and classroom and student outcomes by Jennings and Greenberg in 2009. How many years ago? It's about 2009. Then what we have in the first square, we have the teacher's social, emotional competence and well-being. It's very important to take into account. And with this, if we have the teacher's social, emotional competence and well-being, we are going to have healthy teacher-student relationships. This is very, very important to take into account. Healthy teacher-student relationships. Good at that. They come forward and they come backwards. Is that they are really connected with this. And now teacher social emotional competence connects also with effective classroom management. You see, that is all. Effectiveness depends on this. And effective social emotional learning, which is self-implementation. And for this leads us to healthy classroom classmate. Healthy classroom classmate. That is that we need all the time. And at the end, we have student social, emotional, and academic outcomes. So look at that. All of them are related. Come and go. They come and go to this and to that. So they are connected. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this chart? Okay, it was implemented in 2009. Interesting. So, designing emotional classes. Now we go to this, designing emotional classes. So, there are lots of ways we can design emotional classes. Here are some strategies that are useful whether you're teaching in person or online. Interesting. So whether you're teaching in person or online, because in both ways of teaching, in both ways of learning, we need that connection. Let's have a look at the strategies that are useful whether you're teaching in person or online. Let's consider how these approaches might improve your students' ability to learn, achieving outstanding outcomes. You want to know the strategies? Let's go to the strategies. First, be aware of the impact that you and your emotions can have on your students' interest and motivation to learn and engage. Motivation to learn and engage. You can make a big difference with a deliberate effort to be enthusiastic, positive, and optimistic about your students' success. This is what we are inspired by to get our students' success. So you can look for ways to reinvigorate your passion, because if you are a teacher, you are an educator, I do not suppose, I'm sure that, yes or no, you are passionate or not? Yes, of course. If you're passionate, please react. React. If everybody's passionate, please react. If you don't react, I do not consider that you are not passionate in teaching. I consider that you are not passionate in reacting. No problem. Yes, very good. So share bits of yourself with your students, bits of yourself. So you have to let your students know that you are with them. You are there for them. So this is what you need to do. Share bits of yourself with your students. Then bring personal examples. Bring personal examples and stories that illustrate concepts. Personal examples and stories that illustrate concepts. What are the personal examples or example? We can talk about some anecdotes, right? You can tell something to your students about something that happened to you in the morning, if your class is in the afternoon, or the day before, if your class is in the morning. You can share with them. They can get to know you a little more, right? Share why you went into your field in the first place. Probably your student, you can share with your students how come you decided to be a teacher. What inspired you to be a teacher? Because all of us have stories, right? So some of us could have decided to be a teacher because we had a vocational test and the result was teacher. But why language teacher? So you can share with your students. That's important. I think that it's important that they need to know. It's like, I consider is something like when you want to know how your father met your mother. How many of you in this room know how your father met your mother? React if you know. Oh, I see other reactions, not only the thumb up, a face. All right, and some hearts. Interesting. Yeah, I also know. I know where and how they met each other. Then relate topics to current events that caught your interest, and you'll catch the interest of your students too. Interesting. Relate topics to current events that caught your interest, and you'll catch the interest. Relate topics of the current events, but please don't talk to them about politics. Don't talk to them about politics. Politics, no, not a good idea. Okay, we have a terrible situation in politics in our country, but I don't want to go forward to this topic. So strive to be likable. What does it mean? Strive. You have to see that the way to be likable. To strive means, but it's not always easy. It doesn't hurt if your students like you. Yes. It is a saying. It is a saying that not everybody is going to like you, and you are not going to like everyone. Yeah, that's right. But in the classroom is different. I think my personal opinion is you as a teacher, you as an educator, you as a professor, your students, all of your students, 100% of your students need to like more than you, your class. Yes. They can like you as a professor, as a person. You can be a better professional. You can be a good professional, and also you can be a good person as well. And this is a good balance in the classroom. If you are conscious of these two main points, you can have a good result to all the students for them to like the way you teach and the way you behave. Yes. They will be more motivated to attend class and actually pay attention if they like and respect you. This is important. This is a universal concept. How do we do this? How can we make our students like us, like our class, like us and what we do in class? Smile. How many times you have been told that a teacher should smile? But not all the time, of course, no? Not all the time, because when you are grading your students, you're not going to be like this all the class, no? No. But in the different situations that you live in the classroom, most of them have to be positive. And the positiveness is shown by a smile, not laugh, but smile like this. No, like this. Right. Probably you are not smiling now. You're serious. I cannot see you. But I assume, like when my students have their cameras off, I just assume they are smiling or they have positive vibes. Make eye contact. Make eye contact. In these remote classes, to make eye contact is really difficult because we are distracted by all the images we have in the Zoom, for example, or in the Microsoft Teams, or in Google Classrooms, when we can see the students when they have the cameras on, and we look at the pictures, or we look at the cameras, the tiny cameras that we can see. Like now I'm looking at the Zoom. But this is not a good idea because they need to see your eyes. So for example, now I'm talking to you, I'm looking at the camera, and you can feel I might be by your side because I am looking at you. You feel I'm looking at you. And we can feel engaged in this particular moment. Okay, because if we do not look at the camera of our computers, we can have like, this distracting side. So that is not good. Emphasize with your students. Empathize, excuse me, but you have to emphasize the empathy. Yeah, good. So that is what it needs. You need to put yourself in their shoes in some moments. You have to remember the way you learned also, which is very different like now. But you have to remember how you felt when the teachers were giving you lessons. So you have to feel like you have to feel in that level. If it is the English classes, if it is very basic, you have to feel as if you were in that level. And how can you get approached? In other words, you have to be the teacher that you would like to have, or you would have liked to have in classrooms when you were a school student or university student. In this way,
Sí.
Ask them how their day is going or their week. Yes, it's important to be familiarized with them. Not everything is the class, okay, the grammar, all the strategies. Yes, sometimes we can have a talk, like a talk to have unstressful moments, relaxing time, like 3 minutes of talking about how was your You can have breakout rooms. They can interact with each other for 3 minutes. How was your day? How was your week? How was your weekend? If it is Monday class, ask after that big exam they had in another class. Okay, yes, well, exams are stressful. For me, I tried exams not to be stressful because exams is just to see how well you remember the things. Yes, exams are part of all the assessments. Yes, it's that it's part of demonstrated something, but they are not completely mm, they are not completely um, how do you say something that is going to determine if you are good or bad? Yes, in that way. They are not going to determine if you are good or bad. One exam is not going to determine that, because that's why the classes, you have classes in different hours, you have participation of your students. Exams can be probably a time that they might be nervous. Some students have this problem, but how to deal with it, it's interesting because you can work on emotions as well. Basically, develop and convey a supportive and encouraging attitude. This is magic. Supportive and encouraging attitude, which showing your students that you like and care for them can significantly increase their liking for you, which helps them to show up and learn. You see, take a look of this. Take a look at this and remember, this is very, very important piece of information. You won't regret if you apply this. Well, to read a little bit about this, you can also create emotional connections. How? So, to content by leveraging music or video. Leveraging music or video. How? Okay, I give you an idea. So play an evocative video or song that relates to the day's topic. Show a moving image to help students understand or better connect to a class concept. Play an audio recording or a poet reading, the assigned poem or a video of a Shakespeare play, for example. These techniques help bring your material to life into a peaceful way. Now we have what do we have? We have now very well-known practices of podcast. Have you heard about podcasts? Yes? Good. So this podcast can be good material to practice, and you can also encourage your students to have a podcast with the knowledge that they have in English. Very interesting, talking about themselves, whatever they like, talking about their favorite sport or things. So another way to tap into emotional elements of learning is to give students some control over the learning. When you give students choices, it's likely they will have greater interest in their task. This will increase the motivation to complete it. So the question is, can students choose from a range of assessments or topics? Can they help decide on some of the grading criteria of the policies? That could help according to some surveys, no? How would you like to be learned? I do surveys in the classroom. How would you like to be taught, for example, the first day? So I read the answers. I give them Google form, so they fill out, so I can see. I can see that way they prefer. So similarly, make activities as valuable as possible for students. Show the relevance to personal, academic, and career goals to ignite enthusiasm and interest and encourage flow. Do you listen to rap music, to rap urban music? We say flow, the flow, yes? With this music, you need flow. They say flow. So it's the energy, the positive energy. That's it. And That state of total concentration such as that the sense of self is immersed in the process by increasing assignments that hit that sweet spot of desirable difficulty. This is important. There are so many other ways of including emotions, targeting emotions, even deeply acknowledging that they exist in our teaching and learning processes. With a little thought, I am sure you will find ways to harness the power of emotions in your own classes. Then, what do we understand by the spark of learning? The spark of learning. We need to get this in our classes. Energizing the college classroom with the science of emotion. That is said by Sarah Rose Kavanagh in 2016. In it, Kavanagh presents the compelling arguments for the deliberate inclusion of emotions and the design of our classes. This is a book of hers. Get that online. Research about this. The spark of learning. It's very important. I think it's very basic information for us as teachers. We need to get the spark of learning. And if we continue talking about emotional intelligence, we can see that the self-awareness, confidence, emotional identification, it comes with what? Thinking patterns, personal what? Personal programming through visualization and self-talk, establishing habits. So we are here in this circle, in the emotional intelligence. We have the attraction in both sides. In this part that you look here to the left, we have focus on what? Give energy to. And to the right, you have think, speak, and act. And then we continue with this and we say empathy and social awareness, interpersonal connection, communication leads with what? Communicating, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, important touch, related to the touch. Nonverbals, developing rapport and resonance. And then we continue with this circle, self-management, that you talk about discipline, vision, planning, control, adaptability, which is related to reframing, self-suggestion, defining map of reality, internal processing. And the other side, we have relationships and interpersonal dynamics like coaching that we have, teamwork and leadership. Important to have the calibration, matching and leading, pacing, connected, positive. So we have all of this in our classrooms and we have to deal with them. And to see now deeply, we can talk about the element. In the element, we have self-awareness. In the definition, we say that the ability to recognize and understand your moods, emotions, and drives, as well as their effect on others. And the characteristics of self-awareness is self-confidence, realistic self-assessment, self-deprecating sense of humor. The sense of humor important, you see? Self-regulation. Then you have the ability to control or redirect disruptive impulses and moods, the propensity to suspend judgment, to think before.
Hola, practicante.
Trustworthiness and integrity, comfort with ambiguity, openness to change. Openness to change, important. Motivation, again, this is important. A passion to work, reasons that go beyond money or status, important. In special as for teachers, that we are not going to become millionaires as teachers, but then we have the passion. A propensity to pursue goals with energy and persistence. And then the characteristics is that in motivation, you have a strong drive to succeed, even in commitment. Excellent. Motivated. You are excellent. Ooh, Great, let's party tonight. The empathy, as you might know, the ability to understand the emotional makeup or other people, a skill in treating people according to the emotional reactions, expertise in building and retaining talent, cross-curricular sensitivity, service to clients and customers, social skill, proficiency in management relationships and building networks, and ability to find common ground and build rapport. As I said before, effectiveness in the characteristics in leading change, persuasive, expertise in building and leading teams. This is what we need to know about. In the end, you are going to find this. Now, too much talk. You have the right to work with me. I'm going to give you to all a challenge. Do you like challenges? Okay, let me go on because I'm going to give you a challenge. And I'm going to, in it. I'm looking for, yeah. Okay, I found it. I found it. So this is very important, and I have an exercise for you, a little challenge exercise, and I hope you like this, what I have prepared for you today. So this is that one. Okay. Aha. I found the file. It was hidden, but I found it. Wait a minute. This is interesting. What I have. Okay. Okay. My computer, I think, is kind of some small computer. Okay. Okay. I have it now. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm going to include this in here, and I got it. Now, are you ready? Okay. So you are going to see, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Everybody, please open your microphones because all of us are going to work together. And in chorus, you are going to say out the name. For example, here, you have to do, your brain is going to do two things. First, think in English. No matter you know, it is in Spanish, but you don't have to read excellent. You don't have to read the color that you see. You have to read the color that it represents. You understand? For example, I have heard this, and someone said blue. Correct. Red. Correct.
Red.
Okay.
Red.
Red.
No.
Red.
It's blue. It's blue. You have to.
Red.
Blue.
Yes.
Blue.
You have to say the color that it represents, not that you see. Okay.
Okay.
Right? So you have to do double job. You have to translate. All right? The color that it represents. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. One. The next.
Blue.
Yellow.
Yellow. Black.
Red.
Blue.
Orange.
Green.
Yellow.
Black. Red.
Continue.
Green.
Blue.
Black.
Red.
Red.
Green.
Very good.
Yellow.
Yellow.
All right. Happy learning, everyone. Happy learning. Thank you. Thank you very much for your participation.
Lo vamos a hacer todito de las... Son 4, pero no son muchos.
Excellent. So I like to finish my talk with energy, the same energy that I started. I like to hold the energy up to the end. That is how we have to manage our classroom's emotions. Woo! Yes, now you have some participations ahead. I am very glad to be here to say something that you want to share with us, to ask a question, comment, whatever you want to say. Okay, Claudia, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, my dear. Oh, I'm so sorry. First, I'm going to mute all of them. Oh, I'm so sorry. We have here some people who had some technical problems. Okay, thank you so much. In this case, Ruben, it was a very great session. I think that all of us feel active, okay, with the vibes, and yes, absolutely, it was amazing. Thank you so much again, Ruben, for accept the invitation to be here in this space. We learned a lot, okay, we were taking notes. It was really important. Thank you so much. And let me please share with you some comments, okay? Matilde mentioned in this case, thanks, Ruben, excellent. In this case, Miss Roxana mentioned, thank you again for your positive vibes from the beginning to the end, especially the song. Ruben, you activate immediately, right? Our participation. I think that it was really great. Okay. So let me share with you another comment. Jocelyn mentioned, it was a great presentation and engaging, Mr. Garcia. Christian Nicholas mentioned, thanks again. Okay, thank you, Chris. It is a pleasure to have you here again. Okay, so definitely, I think that all of us are really happy for your presentation. We learned a lot. And as the majority of people said, the energy, we feel the energy because as you mentioned, emotional, okay, the emotions are really important, right? In the online lesson, especially, right? When you mention, please turn on your camera, you need to participate with the music, right? And immediately all of us celebration, right? So thank you so much, Ruben. Okay. Armeli Aragon mentioned, thanks a bunch. Matilde Campuzama mentioned, yes, celebration is 100% of energy. Thank you so much, Ruben, again. It was a pleasure to have you here. I hope to have you again in the future, maybe. If it's possible to have you here, it will be a pleasure. So thank you so much, Ruben. Something that you want to add? I don't know, where could I find you on Facebook, my dear?
Well, just to tell you that really, I'm working a lot on emotional classes because that is the key of learning. So I'm telling in all my talks around the world that I have the opportunity to participate. You have to light up emotions because as we have read here, without emotions, you are dead. And dead people do not learn anything. Is that right or not? How many of you agree? Yes. Well, I'm sorry to talk about death in these terrible times. Okay, forget about it. No problem. I really appreciate your collaboration. Thank you very much. For me, it's always a pleasure to share the little things that I know, and that is more important. I learn. I consider myself a lifelong learner. No matter how many years of experience I have, I learned every time. Today morning, today afternoon, yes, with Matilde, for example, we were participating in a Rio Andes talk. It was great opportunity to learn again, to share our experience, our expertise, to learn about activities. And we always learn about activities in these particular moments that we get together because we are teachers, we are educators that are committed to get knowledge and to share knowledge for the benefit of education worldwide. That's the only policy. Keep learning and share what you learn because it is now known that you learn more what you teach. Yes, and your students will remember you, um, as much as you make them feel, because they are going to forget the things that they hear, but the things that they feel, they will remember. And that is part of neurolanguage programming as well. So this is good to talk about neurolanguage programming in the classroom. Yesterday I had a talk, yes, yesterday, Thursday afternoon, I had a talk about neurolanguage programming in the classroom. It was, and I'm going to give another talk similar in a conference in India. I think it's going to be the 28th of this month. Yes. All right. That's
Yeah,
Claudia participating in India as well. Good. With Andres. We are the
we
team, the
always are
Peruvian team.
the
Good.
Peruvian
The
thing
Peruvian
all the
team.
time. Yes,
With
it's a
Andres.
pleasure to be there with you, Ruben. As
Yes.
usually, it is a pleasure to be with you in that in Thailand, right? In Thailand, in India, we are there. So please, some people is asking me because they have some technical problems and something like that. Please don't forget, we have the record, okay? We are going to share on our Facebook page, okay? We have the first, the second, and the third webinar there, okay? So you could search on the web to Miss Clau Rivera, and you're going to find some posts, and one of them is Ruben Garcia presentation. As you noticed, it was wonderful. I think that you are going to watch it again or maybe share with different teachers, okay? Because as he mentioned, we never stop learning. So it's great, it's absolutely amazing to know different things, right? Different things, because as teachers, we need to improve constantly, right? So it's necessary, I think. So don't worry about that. We're going to share, yes, we have the first and the second webinars there on Facebook page. And we have our channel on Miss Clau Rivera, okay? So don't forget that. So thank you so much, Ruben Garcia, again. Okay, I definitely, I really adore your presentation, right? Because I was a little bit exhausted because, as you know, we need to prepare a lot of material, a lot of things, right? But when you start with these vibes, automatically, yes, I feel inspired. So I think that we need to do the same with our students, right?
Yes.
So that's why. That's why.
Inspiration moves the world.
Thank you so much, Ruben. It was definitely great. So please, something that you want to add, I don't know, please, my dear audience. Yes, Erasmo mentioned, great, thanks a lot. Never stop learning because life never stops teaching. Benjamin mentioned that. Rosemary is worried about the presentation. Don't worry, Rosemary. We're going to share the presentation, the record, okay, on our Facebook page, okay? So don't worry about that. You're going to watch it again. So thank you again, Ruben, for your time.
Open the microphone to my friend Michael Navarro. Michael, go ahead.
Michael, is there? I don't know. Michael is there? I don't know.
Oh, hello, Claudia. Hello, Ruben. Hi.
Hello.
Hello there. Hello.
Hello. It's a pleasure
again,
to have you here.
thank you so much. And it was a pleasure as well to see and to watch the webinar, Ruben. So excellent. I really admire your work as well. And it was nice to listen about emotions, right? And I enjoyed the last activity. I think we all had fun there, right? So it's really good. Yes. And thank you as well, Claudia, for sharing, these webinars with the community. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much to you.
Thank you, my friend.
Your time is precious. Your time is precious.
Yes, and thank you so much to all the teachers from Ecuador, to the teachers who are from Chachapoyas that are here, the teachers who are from Barranco, from Lima. We have teachers from all over the world. Okay, so thank you so much for your participation.
Andres is still here. Andres is still here, or he disappeared?
He has, I think he had something to do, but some teachers from his community are here, like Tania, right? Tania Cajamarca, who was a great speaker.
Good to see you here. Yes.
Okay. Tania, who is a very great speaker. Thank you so much, Tania.
Yes,
Tania was in the third webinar, so thank you so much. It was great. Okay, we have a lot of hearts in this case. Eh,
No la cojo.
Rosanna, I think Rosanna is here too. I watched Rosanna. Rosanna, please let me know what do you think about the presentation, my dear Rosanna.
Hello, Claudia, Ruben. Here I am.
Hello, Rosanna. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you here, okay, from NETA, Peru Tech, okay?
No, I really say thank you to you, Claudia and Ruben. I listened to the second part of the presentation because I was at work, as you know, but I personally think emotions are life. That's it. If we
Thank you
have
so much.
emotions, we are alive.
Yes.
And I don't want to mention about death, but the dead people don't have emotions, just
Sure.
alive people, and we are alive, and we have to learn a lot, and we have to measure our emotions at any time of our lives, because sometimes we are so excited or so sad, so worried. So we have to, I don't know if the words measure, but I think we have to adequate, or I don't know, adapt our emotions.
Adapt.
There is another verb, but
Yeah.
thank you, Ruben. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Again, thank you, Rosanna, for these nice words. I really appreciate you, okay? And I think Ruben too. So it was a pleasure for me to share with Ruben this space. Thank you so much, Ruben, again, for the opportunity to know more about you, to have you as a friend. It is a pleasure. You always has a good attitude, good vibes. Emotion is I'm really happy to have you as friends. Thank you so much. It is an honor too. And more than that, beyond that, you are a great teacher. Thank you to share this webinar with us. We learn a lot. So thank you so much, everyone from different parts of the world. Okay. Thank you for being here, for
By
your
the way,
time.
Claudia, by the way, let me congratulate you for having received your diploma in physics. In physical version of a doctorate. Excellent.
Thank you, Ruben. I am so happy. Thank you. It was, yes, I was so many days of, I was crying a lot, and I was happy a lot for my thesis, but thank you, my friend. I really appreciate you for these words, right? Thank you so much for always share your knowledge with me, okay? I really follow your job, okay, in Thailand, in India, okay, in different parts of the world, and I think that we really admire, okay? And especially, I think that with this new, because I think that you're going to have a new, you're going to be a director of something new, my dear friend. Can you mention something about that, please?
Sure. They are international organizations about education and research. They have invited me to be the country director in Peru. We have, for example, one is AD Africa. And just 2 days ago, I received another kind invitation to be part of the team of an international university in Europe. But like we are working online, see, I can have the representation of Peru. Thanks to my talks or my work, because we have to do lots of things, you know, as researchers, teachers, and everything. So we apply for these positions because we are really concerned about education worldwide, and we would like to have that representation to be potentially loaded with the responsibility for our country in the projection universal results that are going to make us be productive. And when we are not more in the earth or on earth, we are going to have a legacy to the world. That is what we are here for. I have not just, but I have found my purpose of life. And it's sharing, research, and share. That's a policy.
Thank you, Ruben. Definitely, it will be great. Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. If you want to know more about Ruben, okay, you could search him on the web. He has many things. He's very active. He participates in different webinars. So don't worry about that. I hope that you are going to know more about him. So thank you so much, Ruben, again. It was a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much, all of you. Okay, we're going to share with you the webinar from July because we're going to start a new group of webinars on July. But thank you so much for this presentation. And again, Ruben, thank you so much. And good vibes in these new positions that you're going to have. I know that your professional knowledge and and more than that, you are a very great friend and a very great person. So that is the most important for me. Thank you so much to all of you for being here, part of the 4 webinars. As I mentioned, I'm going to share that on the Facebook page and of my YouTube channel, okay, Miss Claudia Rivera. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ruben. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. Yes, good night. And
Ruben, the music, Ruben, the music to go.
Yeah, sure. I was going to do this. Woo! Celebration all the time because we are doing a great job for the benefit of our students. Woo!
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your
Say
participation.
goodbye to Patty Bird. Say goodbye to Patty Bird.